Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Graceful Tangle podcast. I'm Amy Kate, a young but passionate knitter and crocheter. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Etsy, Ravelry, and Pinterest as The Graceful Tangle. On Ravelry and Etsy, you can find and purchase my knit and crochet patterns. And also on Ravelry, you can find the Graceful Tangle podcast group and join in on all of the fun chatter we have going on over there. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to be back with you guys for episode 13. Let me also remind you that I will have show notes for this podcast episode on my blog. So I will include the link to that in the description box below so that you can go check it out if you would like. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and then hit the notification bell so that you can get notified each and every time I upload an episode. So, without further ado, let's jump right into some finished objects. So, yes, you heard that right. I finally have some finished objects to share with you guys. The past 2 episodes, I haven't had any to share with you. I have been crazy busy, kind of behind the scenes, and with YouTube and media and planning projects, things like that recently. So, my knitting and crocheting time has diminished just a bit, but I am so excited to finally be sharing a few finished objects with you guys. So I do have 3 finished objects from this past week. However, I will only be sharing 2 of them because the first one is my test knit for Julie of Twin Stitches Designs. I have finished my latency cardigan, which is so exciting. So I will be posting about that when it is released. So you won't see it until then, just to kind of keep the excitement up in the air. But I do have 2 finished objects to share with you today. So the first is this baby blanket. I am so glad that this is finally done. So I've been working on this for a little bit longer than I would like to admit. But like I said, I've just been working on a lot of things, so it's okay that this took a little bit longer than expected. But that's totally fine. So this is a pattern that I actually designed. I kind of wasn't intending to release it as a pattern when I first started crocheting the blanket, but I absolutely love how it turned out. So I will be publishing this pattern soon. So I guess this is technically a little bit of design talk, but I'm going to go ahead and show it now anyway. But yeah, I absolutely love how this turned out. If you have been watching my podcast for a little while now, you probably have seen this as a work in progress, but if you're new around here, let me remind you of the yarn. So this green is Premier Puzzle in the color Maize. It is very, very similar to Loops and Threads Barcelona. And then this gray for the border, I'm not actually sure what it is. It's really old and someone actually gifted it to me a while ago. And I think it might be Premier Puzzle 2. Actually, it is like the same weight and feel, like it feels exactly the same, it's just a different color. So I'm thinking it might be that. It could also be Loops and Threads Barcelona. I'm really not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, that's what that is. It's just a gray, bulky weight yarn. I do have an end that needs to be trimmed. It looks like I wove the ball in, but it looks like I forgot to cut that one. But yeah, I love the length of this. So it actually, this is the way that it actually goes. So my original intent was to make the right side, or like the right way to use this blanket with the stripes going horizontal. But as I kept crocheting, I just really loved how it looked with the stripes vertical. But it's completely reversible. Like, it really doesn't matter. It is a little bit narrower than it is wide. So like, I started here and crocheted this way, and it is a little bit narrower than it is wide this way, but I mean, it's not much. So like, the recipient can either use it like this or like this. It really doesn't matter. I just decided that I really liked how it looked with the stripes going vertical, and I kind of thought that would be a little bit more flattering, I guess might be the right word, if the mother would be to like drape this blanket over the baby's car seat or something like that. I just thought it would look better if the stripes were vertical, but it really doesn't matter. It can be completely reversible. But yeah, I absolutely love how this turned out, even if it took a little bit longer than I was intentionally planning. Okay, so my next finished object is so incredibly exciting. It is something that I didn't even have started last week. So I knit and finished a sock. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this. I have been talking all week about this in my Instagram stories, so be sure to follow me over on there if you would like some more frequent sock updates. But I am so excited that I finally knit a sock. So, a little bit of backstory. I have tried and failed multiple times to knit socks. I have technically knit 2 pairs. They were both like a worsted bulky weight sock, so kind of like a slipper sock. And they're definitely socks, like they count. But to me, it just seems so much more real if you use, sock yarn and these tiny needles and knit the entire thing with a good leg. My other socks have shorter legs, so I just love how this turned out. So the pattern that I used, I actually used the tutorial for knitting socks on 9-inch circulars by Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady. I will link that tutorial in the description box below, and it will be in the show notes. But I really love how this turned out. So she has a pattern that you can follow along that is available for purchase in her Ravelry and I believe Etsy too, in her shops. I have not purchased that pattern yet. It is something that I'm intending to do in the near future, but I just decided to kind of go along with the tutorial and see if I could finish the sock completely that way, and I totally could. It was so straightforward. She had numbers listed down below if you were knitting different sizes than what she did, which I was knitting the size small and she was knitting the size medium. It was just so easy to follow along. I love case tutorials. So I did a 20 round, just shot the sock. I did a 20 round rib. This is a 1x1 rib, then a 60 round leg. I did a heel flapping gusset, which was my first time doing that, and I'm really proud of it. It went really well. So here is the slip stitch heel flap. The heel turn is this little kind of triangle section here, and then the gusset are all of these decreases along here. And then I knit the foot and did the toe. I believe this is called a wedge toe, if I'm correct. You decrease on each side instead of like all the way around. If you were to decrease evenly all the way around, it would be a rounded toe. And I really like the fit of a wedge toe, so I think I'm going to stick with that. Let's see if there's anything else. I did make a hilarious mistake. You might have seen it in my stories. So I knit the entire sock, and then to knit the toe, you're supposed to switch to DPNs or magic loop. And I did not have the right size, well, I kind of did, but I didn't have the right size DPNs that I wanted to use. And so I decided to just go with it and try to knit the entire thing on the 9-inch circulars. Did not work very well. And I made a huge mistake and knit the toe like completely sideways. So I thought my stitches were divided in half. They were, but I had accidentally put the markers at the top of the foot and the bottom of the foot instead of the sides of the foot. So when I knit my toe, the decreases were here and it was completely sideways. It was ridiculous. Like, leave it to me to make a mistake like that. It's so funny. I knit the toe like one night, and then like I finished it, discovered what I did, and I was like, lovely. So I just left it and did it, fixed it the next day, and I'm so happy I did. So to knit this toe the second time, I did switch to DPNs. I used some terrible wooded ones that I have, and it worked, and I got through it. However, I am so excited because I did order some Chiaogu 32-inch size 1 needles, so that I can knit the toes and the heel, because I'm planning on doing an afterlight heel soon, which I will talk about a little bit later. But with those 32-inch circulars, I will be able to knit the toe magic loop, which I'm so excited about. It's going to make it so much easier. So yeah, I have the Chiaogu interchangeable mini twist set, so that's what I used for these shorties. So like they're super short. I used those needles for this, and then I just didn't have a cable that was big enough to knit magic loop. So that was another problem, but those needles are going to come in the mail very soon, and it's going to fix all of my problems. But yeah, I'm so excited with how this sock turned out, and I am thoroughly looking forward to knitting more socks in the future, which you will see in just a moment when we jump right along into whips. So moving right along into whips, we're going to start by talking about some more socks. So I am working on the second sock of the one that I just finished, this one. And I have it in this bag, which I just laugh every time I see it. It's just so funny to me. This is a new bag that I received from Knit Picks. It says Wool Enemy #1, and it has a picture of a moth on it, which is, it's just hilarious. I love it. But anyway, so I am just working on the leg on the second sock. So I have finished the cuff, and I am working on the leg now. So I'm just a little ways in. I have not worked on this in a couple days, but I'm really excited to get back to it. Also, this yarn, I don't think I talked about it earlier, but it is Yarn Bee, no, not Yarn Bee, I'm used to saying that. This is Lolo Did It in the color Helping Hippos. I received this yarn as a giveaway prize a while back, and I've been wanting to knit socks with it ever since I first received the yarn, and I'm so happy that I finally am getting to that. Yeah, I just love this so much. So here are the needles that I'm using. These are my Chiaogu Mini Twist Shorties. So it's an interchangeable set, and I absolutely love them. And then one thing that I have really loved doing, so the Mini Twist set, I will have a product review going up about this set soon, so be on the lookout for that. But one thing that I love about this set is that you get 2 pairs of each size needle. So you get 2 sets of size 1, 2 sets of size 2, and so on, all the way up to 3, size 3. One pair is longer, and one pair is shorter. And what this is so great for is if you are right-handed, you're probably going to find it more comfortable to have more support for that hand. So this longer needle, if you place it on the right, gives you that added support, and it just makes knitting with 9-inch circulars so much more comfortable because you have so, like that much more needle to hold on to. And then on the left side, you use the short needle so that your stitches glide smoothly up and over that and don't get stuck on the turn because the needle is longer. So I just have found that I absolutely love doing that, using different lengths of tip, the same size but different lengths. Again, it's just so comfortable. So you might not find that comfortable for yourself, but I do recommend trying it if you have found that 9-inch circulars aren't super comfortable for you. I would highly suggest trying that out and just seeing what you think. But yeah, I absolutely love knitting this sock. So this one is going to match its pair perfectly. They're going to be exactly matching, hopefully, as long as I can, nail that down. But yeah, super excited about that. And then I have actually started another sock. So I am filming this on Sunday, August 9th, which is day 1 of the Sock Week 2020 challenge being hosted by Nitty Natty. So I have decided to cast on a new pair of socks specifically for this challenge. So yes, I have 2 socks on the needles right now. I don't really know what I'm thinking, but I'm enjoying it, so that's exciting. And this is how far I am. So I've just started this morning, and I'm not even quite done with the cuff. However, I'm changing a few things up with this pair. So something about sock knitting is you kind of have to find what works for you and what works for your foot. Like, everybody's a little bit different, and you're all going to have different preferences. So I'm kind of trying a few different versions, a few different styles, and kind of figuring out what I like best. For this sock, I did a 1x1 ribbed cuff, and then a heel flopping gusset and a wedge toe. for this sock, for the sock challenge, I am actually doing a 2x2 ribbed cuff. I'm going to do a long leg, I think, still, because I really like the way that that fits me. But I will be doing, well, attempting to do an afterthought heel, because this yarn is self-striping, and I think that that's going to look a little bit better than the heel flopping gusset. And I want to see how an afterthought heel fits my foot. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I am also using a size 0 needle instead of a size 1. I wanted to see if I could tighten the gauge just a little bit and make it a little bit more snug on my foot without decreasing the stitch count. So we're going to see how it works. If I don't notice a big difference with the fit, then I will probably try going down to 52 stitches instead of 56. But yeah, we're going to see. I'm really excited about this, and I'm so excited that I finally figured out, you know, kind of how to knit socks and the construction and all of that. And I'm looking forward to finding the sock that fits my foot perfectly. So I'll be filming a whole other video all about Sock Week 2020 and the process of knitting this sock and the fit and all of that good stuff. So be on the lookout for that video soon. But yeah. Also, last thing, the yarn. I have had this yarn for so long, and I'm so glad to finally be knitting socks with it. This is, I believe, Deborah Norville Serenity Sock Weight. I am not sure in the color, but I'm pretty sure that's the right yarn line at least. And I really love it. These colors aren't something that I would typically gravitate towards, but I really love it for socks. I think I'm going to really enjoy having some kind of sillier, funkier color socks. So yeah, absolutely loving sock knitting right now, which is something that I always hoped that I would say, but never really thought that I would. So I'm really grateful to finally be in that place. And also, they're so portable. Oh my goodness. I mean, I have 2 sock whips in this one bag, and I could take it and work with it anywhere. Actually, this past week I have been putting my my first sock, as I was working on it, I put the ball of yarn and the needles in my yarn bowl and just left that on my desk. And so anytime I was at the computer and I was waiting for something to load or watching a video for a few minutes or something like that, I would just pick up my sock and work on it. And it was amazing how much I got done by just doing that for a few minutes at a time. So it's so nice to have something this portable in hand. Okay, moving along from socks, my second and last work in progress is my test crochet project. So this is for Stephanie of By Stephanie Aaron. I am testing her Better Than Basic Ringer Tee, and I have made a lot of progress on this week. And like last week for the Land and Sea cardigan, this will most likely be the last time that you see this until it is released. I'm getting very close to finishing it, and I hope to do that this week, so you most likely won't see it until then. But here is my progress. So I believe last time we chatted, I was somewhere up here-ish on the body, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I have now finished the waist shaping, which you can see that little curve there, and then it goes back out for the hip shaping. I am almost done with the body. I just have a few rows left, and then I will be adding this contrasting ring around the body and the sleeve cuffs, and then it will be done. I'm really looking forward to having this project finished. I have enjoyed working on it, but yeah, I'm excited to kind of move on to something else, but I really love this project. I'm excited to block it, see it grow just a tad, kind of make the stitches all even out. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. You can see that it's going to fit pretty snugly, but perfectly. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see this done. So the yarn that I'm using is Yarn Bee's Soft and Sleek DK. I talked a little bit about it last week, how even though this yarn is classified as DK, it is very much a fingering. And I am using 2 colors. The gray is, I believe, called Mink. And then this like deep rustic mustard is Dijon. So, really excited about this. Again, it is so close to being done. And be sure to keep an eye out for this release because it's a great pattern. I am so excited to see all of the other testers' versions. And then I'm looking forward to seeing all of y'all's versions when the pattern is released. moving right along into design talk, I am only going to show one project. I am working on a couple of other things, but I am currently working on those patterns and finishing up those projects so that the patterns can be released soon, so I'm not going to show them again. But I will show you something that I'm working on that is going to be released this fall. So my very first pattern that I ever released, it was on January 1st, 2020, I released the Genesis Messy Bun Beanie. So I'm currently working on a cowl version of that pattern, and I just love how it's coming together. Oh my goodness, I love this. I'm using I Love This yarn in the color Sun Gold, which is the same yarn that I used for the Genesis Messy Bun Beanie. I will link to that pattern in the description box below, as long as I remember, so that you can check it out. I love it. So, again, I love this yarn in the color Sun Gold. I am also using some new needles. These are the Knit Picks nickel-plated tips, the interchangeable set, and I love them so much. They are my absolute favorite needles. So yeah, let's see, I'm probably about halfway done with this, which is really nice. Maybe a little bit less. I need to count my rows and see, but the pattern is actually just about done because I kind of knew everything I was going to do before I even started. So yeah, this won't be released until the fall or winter, but I'm really excited about this pattern. I just love this stitch pattern, and I love it with this color. It's just such a fun project. So that's all I'm going to share for design talk this week. Again, for like the 10 millionth time, I'm working on so many things right now, but I kind of want to keep them a little bit secret so that I can build up the excitement for all of those things. So for my devotional today, I wanted to talk a little bit about pursuing a true relationship with our Heavenly Father, and one where the mentality is even more. So I am working through a devotional right now that I started this past week that is called Even More, and it is a 40-day devotional that kind of talks about a bunch of different topics and things to help you continue to build and sustain a good, true, and firm foundation with the Father. So one thing that this devotional talked about that really stood out to me was how we have the tendency to compartmentalize our lives. And what that means is, so kind of like how you would store leftovers from dinner or organize toys or something like that. So you always divide things by the topic or by the content. So you have, for toys, you would put all of the little toy cars in a box, and all of the little crayons in a box, and markers in a box, and Legos in a box, things like that. And then for food, you put all of the vegetables in a container and all the mashed potatoes in a container. Just things that we separate because we know that it's better for that food or that thing if they're separate. Well, to compartmentalize our lives means to separate our life into compartments, into sections. So you have relationships in a box. You have your relationship with God in a box. Sometimes you have your future in a box, your past in a box, the present in a box. And when we have a relationship with the Father, in order to have a true one, we have to invite Him into all of the compartments. All of the areas of our life are one with Him. We have a tendency, unfortunately, to compartmentalize in such a way that we invite God into some areas of our life and not others. So if we have an area of our life where we need help, such as our future, if we don't know what's going on, if we don't know what we're supposed to do next, I've been there, I've done that, it's hard. And we have a tendency to plead to God and to give us a next step, to let us know, what He wants for us. Well, say that you are in a relationship and you think that relationship is going well and you are both happy and you love each other, or you and your best friend, if it's just platonic like that, then you might have the tendency to not invite God into that because you're like, oh, well, it's going well. I've got this. I don't need God's help right now. But let me encourage you that we need God in all areas of our life so that He can do the amazing things that He wants to do and that He has planned to do in our lives. in order for him to do those things, though, again, we have to invite God into every single compartment. He has to be all in, and we have to be all in with him. So with that, I just want to leave you in a happy note and hope that you continue to have an amazing week, because it is already Tuesday. So I hope that you can continue to have an amazing week. Thank you so much for watching. Again, be sure to check out the show notes for this podcast if you want a little bit more details and some special links. And then be sure to follow me on all other social media platforms. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Bye!